Here are some of the things I'd want answered. Tell me if you're thinking along these same lines. What is this company all about? How long have they been in business? Is this going to cost me money? Is it going to save me money? Will my time spent with you be worthwhile? How long will it take? I assure you I will answer these questions throughout my presentation. But before we get started, are there any other questions in your mind that I didn't mention so I can be certain to answer them as well? You see, if your questions match theirs, which those will, that's exactly what most people are thinking, they perceive you as competent because you're like them. I'd like you to try this idea. It's best if your questions are jotted down in your own handwriting on a page of the legal pad. And it's almost like you were just thinking about these questions before you arrived. Then, of course, you've taken your pen and you've asked them, are there any other questions that I can cover? They might then say, well, one thing we're a little concerned about, and now you take and write down their question right underneath your 5 or 6 that you have on your pad. It's a wonderful way to start writing right in the beginning. And we've lowered them down now another 10 degrees. We're now going to go to the next area, which is problem identification. You see, if this lead we're working with at the table is a referred lead, you'd use the referrer as an example. Meaning, hypothetically, I'm in front of John and Mary, and Tom referred me to these people. Well, of course, I would say, you know, Tom has told me that he discussed with you his previous challenge with, whatever their challenge was. You apparently agreed that you have the same challenge. Is that right? Now, if it's not a referred lead or a previously unknown product, you'll isolate their challenge with good questions and statements. Kind of like this. You know, John and Mary, after our evaluation, many of the clients we serve find that they have a challenge they weren't previously aware of and that our product can definitely help them overcome it. And they've been lowered another 10 degrees of sales resistance. Then we go to the next area, which is discovery. Discovery. Here you educate them as to the value of gathering in-depth information. Using the art of questioning, we help them discover they not only have a need, but there is urgency to make a decision to go ahead. And another 10 degrees is lowered. Then we go to qualify, which is next. Now here is where we would use our needs formula. Remember, NEADS, where we establish just what their qualification needs are. We're going to find out, what do they have now? What do they enjoy? What would they like to alter? Who is the decision maker? And yes, after all of that, we have the solution. Then we go to our next area, which is called need acknowledgement. And you would just say, John and Mary, based on what we have just discussed, wouldn't you agree that this is something your family or your company could benefit from? See, all we're doing here is getting them to acknowledge there could be a need. Now, some of you are going to be sitting in front of a couple or a committee, a group, where they made a decision before you came in that for no reason are they going to say yes today. Now, you'll have some people so strong in this area that you'll feel it when you first walk in. I mean, I sit down and I've done these steps and I can just tell because I'm not getting much input from them. So I say to myself, well, number 10 is very important here, our next step, and that's called pact acknowledgement. And it might go like this. John and Mary, I'll bet when you set the appointment to see us tonight, you didn't say to yourself, this is wonderful. We're going to spend money and invest in a new product tonight, did you? In fact, it's more likely you may have agreed with each other that you weren't spending any money and that you weren't buying anything. All I ask is that you keep your minds open to the possibility of what we have to offer. Is that fair? Now, you notice what we've also done here? This is your first attempt to get a commitment to say yes to the purchase or to do what your research reveals when you come back with that information. So if we've done all that right, you notice they had 100% sales resistance. We then have got them to some trust. We've got the need, and we're now to 0 degrees on our sales resistance thermometer. So now it's time to go up the other thermometer, which is our sales acceptance thermometer. So let's move to increase that sales acceptance. Ready? The first thing we do down at the bottom of the thermometer is we start with product identification. When your recommendation as to the product or service is selected, you let them know how exciting the results are. See, if I came back on the second visit, I'd start off by establishing rapport, as we always do the next time in. How have you guys been? Gee, it's been 4 days. Anything new and exciting in your life? The weather has been kind of funny, hasn't it? In fact, I think we're about 8 degrees warmer than normal right now. See, we get the rapport established, visit a minute, and then you'd say, you know, John and Mary, based on the information you provided the last time I was here, our recommendation for you is, and you'll let them know what you feel is best for them. You'll now discuss company experience. You see, help them to understand how large a client base has been satisfied. You might say it this way. You know, John and Mary, based on all the years and thousands of clients we've served, most of the recommendations we have tonight are similar to all the other people that we've satisfied with our product. Then you'll go to the next area, which is salesperson expertise. You see, it's important they know that you are a professional. So you're going to share with them your track record with the company. Now, of course, if you're new, and that this can be a challenge if you don't have much of a track record, but what you can share with them is that you are, in essence, the go-between and are supported by experts at the company. Something like this. You know, John and Mary, I chose our company because combined we have over 100 years of experience just in my manager and the 2 people I work with. So we're really on target as far as what we can do for you. Also, you must express that these recommendations are the sum total of some of the greatest expertise in your field. Always do this too. Have third-party information available. This can be photos of yourself receiving an award. It could be that article in the paper that you got put in because you were the top person last quarter in your company. It also can be letters from satisfied clients. These would be those proof letters. For example, try it this way. John and Mary, here's a letter I received from a client who said yes to what our research revealed. And you hand them the letter. I will suggest, if it's a long letter, use a yellow highlighter so that their eyes go to the main things you want them to pick off of that letter. And you've increased sales acceptance another 10 degrees. Now we go to third-party endorsements. This is where you show positive articles from the newspaper or magazine about your company. And please, as a professional salesperson, whenever anything comes out in the paper, the magazine, about your company and it's positive, take it out, laminate it, make sure you keep it clean and crisp so you can show the person. See, people believe what other people say about your company more than what you say about it. And we've increased sales acceptance another 10 degrees. Our next area is called product features. Be sure to answer the prospective client's question, what's in it for me? By providing a fact and a benefit for each feature of your product or service. In other words, there's a truth when people are listening to you at the table. It's not a conscious, it's more of a subconscious reaction. You tell them a fact about your company. We're large, we're the best in the business, we have the greatest reputation. They're subconsciously sitting there, and this little thing is always going in their minds. Well, what's in it for me? What's important to me about that? So it's important when you state a fact, you then follow it up with a benefit. For example, let me choose a home improvement product. Let's just say that I'm in the replacement window business and we have fabulous new windows that are not only energy saving, they're beautiful, they increase the pride of ownership of a home, thus the appreciation and value. Great product. I might say this as a fact. You know, John and Mary, our windows are made of the finest and highest grade aluminum available today. Well, of course, they're sitting there saying what? What's in it for me? So what? So then you follow it up with, because of our construction techniques, our clients find that they enjoy significant savings on fuel and maintenance. So now there's the benefit. And we've, again, increased sales acceptance another 10 degrees. Let's look at the next thing. It's presentation demonstration. Now you would present your proposal, the research you found, the product benefits, and you're always going to be doing it in this formula. You're going to give them a fact, follow up with a benefit of the fact to them, then you're going to try to create, with what you say, a sense of urgency, and then you're going to ask or request for their feedback. So again, fact, benefit, urgency, request for feedback. Kind of like this. Ready? You know, John and Mary, as we mentioned earlier, our windows are of a very high quality. What that means to you is that you'll spend more time enjoying the view through them than maintaining them and working on them. And you know, with our special fall promotion, you'll save an additional 20% on installation. So John and Mary, if you were serious about saving money on your fuel and energy costs, when do you think would be the best time to have your windows replaced? Did you see all 4 steps? Fact, benefit, urgency, feedback. Very important, and I'm going to give you a kind of an assignment I'd love you to think about, especially if you're a manager and you've been in the business many years. I'd love you to take your product or service and maybe brainstorm with your team and say, let's take a piece of paper and list every fact about our product. Then we're going to write what the main benefit to them is. Then we're going to see what are the things we can say to create urgency. And then we're going to have our feedback from them. Now, I was never aware of this when I was back in real estate many, many years ago. But, you know, I did things like this, and I think back, that's why I closed so many sales. Meaning, for example, I'm going to try to show you how I did it with them. I think this will maybe turn on some lights for you, too. Ready? I'd meet John and Mary, and they'd come into the office. And after we visit a little bit and I get them a cup of coffee, I'd say, you know, John and Mary, obviously you're looking for a home now because you've heard about what's going to be happening in the future with our freeway that's coming in. And they go, well, we didn't know too much about it. We're new to the area. Oh, boy, is your timing right. You see, they've already proposed the freeway. And as you're probably aware, whenever a freeway comes in, bringing more people, easier to get to work, there's just a jump in appreciation in property. So, wow, great timing. Now, that is the first time of imprinting in their mind urgency. Then, of course, I'd show them homes. I find the one that they like. And I would then say, after benefits of the property, benefits of the location, I'd simply say, well, based on what I told you about the freeway and this home being in such a great location, being in the school district you wanted, when do you think the best time would be to see if they'll go along with us and accept what you'd like to pay for the home? Honey, we need to do this now. And then I went and got feedback from them as to, well, what do you think we should do? Just maybe make up a proposal for the seller? Come on, in fact, before we do that, let's go over the financing to make sure it makes sense. Okay, come on in here. I'd sit them down, go over financing, then I would move into the final closing sequence. I hope you felt that, okay? Then, of course, we go to the next step to increase sales acceptance, another 10 degrees, which is called the 3-option close. Now, what we do here is we allow them to satisfy their natural urge to shop around by presenting 3 possible ways of handling their need. First, we show a product, a service, or the solution that maybe doesn't resolve their need 100%. Then we show another